In this video, I'm going to show you live how I flipped a property. So what are the conditions you should be looking at in order for a trade or a flip? So how this came across is that I had an investor from Norway. He was interested in Palace, Dubai Creek Harbor. So in between, he sent me this video clip.
By the agent who told them that yes, you can exit after you pay 20%.
Right.
Which is you and me, we know this is bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. But there are people who bought and they were like, okay, once the 40% or whatever is required to transfer the property.
In the video clip, it mentions that it's impossible to sell once you pay 24%. So most agents are like, okay, I pay 24% and I flip, right? Now, it's not the case. Not every agent can. That is the truth. But yes, of course, why I can, I will explain towards the end of the video. But so this is how I show so I'm going to show you the entire chain of events. So I had an investor. He lives in Dubai Hills. Okay. Power couple, wonderful couple. So of course, he made phenomenal investment out of Dubai Hills. So he has a 3-bed in Maple and now he wanted to buy a 4-bedroom. So when Nima came, so what first is product selection, right? So Nima came. So the first step is product selection. Why Nima? So Valley initially was a complete different target market. Eden, Sun, these products were targeting the salaried employees of Dubai, right? Anyone between around 30 to 60,000 dirham salary. So these employees were being targeted. But then now later stage, that's when they incorporated the water bodies. So in Nima, we were getting like 3 beds around 2.2 and 4 beds around 2.9, and it went higher. So product selection, of course, in any launch, there will be good investments that you can trade very quickly, depending on the product, of course. And there will be options that are not very interesting. We'll understand further towards the end of the video. So we had picked up this product. So I picked up best plot, right? Biggest plot. Now, when two products came into the market and he was like, oh my God, so this looks beautiful. So one was Acres and one was Farm Gardens. So of course the prices would jump because Acres was somewhere around 5 and this was around 7. So he comes to me to my office. So I'm going to share this screenshot. So he's like, okay, Zohaib, can I meet you in the office? Because he lived in Dubai Hills. My office was in Dubai Hills. And so he comes to my office around 5:30 p.m. And he's like, Zohaib, I love Acres. Because Acres had a 60-40 plan. He loved EMAR, of course. This is by EMAR, but EMAR was on 90-10. So 90-10 was a bit aggressive for him. He preferred EMAR, but he loved Acres as well. He was a bit confused. But he said, I cannot afford both. I'll have to liquidate Nima in order to proceed for these options. I had not advised him for a flip. I did not tell him. But yes, I do tell my investors, we choose products in such a way that in case you need an exit, it can be done because we will pick the right launch, the right product. Okay. Now, who can flip a property in Dubai? Now, I'm not saying it's only me, but there are very few agents right now. It is quite distressing, but everyone's become a guru, right? But there are very few agents in the market who have been in the market for more than, let's say, 10 years, right? More than 10 years in the market and actually doing the job, doing real estate, not selling cars, not selling insurances, not selling shoes, not selling coats or watches, doing hardcore real estate. Now, I've been doing real estate since 2009. So in 2009, I was working for EMA and, I was part of the launch of Burj Khalifa. We were in the team. So when you're on the ground, you start developing an investor network. So what happened is when he came up with this requirement, I need to liquidate this. I have investors from across the world, right? So I had some investors from US who were at that point picking up houses. Now, these were traditional hardcore investors in the US whose business model is picking up houses in auctions in the US, and they refurbish them and sell them. But right now, because the housing market news is going a bit down, they are focusing towards the Dubai market. So I explained to them that, see, Nima, I think the price point is good. This is the plot size. You can see my conversation. Let's pick it up. And I told him, see, listen, this is the price. I think we should give him at least this much profit. Now, the biggest barrier for a person who trades is your 4% DLD, because as you can see, the product went from 2.9, we sold it at 3.2, but my investor could make only a profit of 150,000 dirhams. But technically, because he had paid somewhere only around 550,000 dirhams, this is not bad, right? And it was a span of like 3 months, and it was not planned. So still he managed to make somewhere around 15%, which is not bad. Technically, that's what, 60% if you look at it annually, but he made around 15% return on his investment. Of course, the investor was happy. He did not expect any profit, because I try and stick to my terms as much as possible. So he's like, Zohaib, just liquidate it. My target is this. But I was like, there's no ways that my investor will not make profit. The whole point of this video is, one, to say, yes, it can be done, but not everyone can do it. The only person, so if you think you can buy a property and then I'll list it in between and then I'll sell it, it's not possible due to there are too many products in the market. It can get a little overwhelming for any investor. The only person who can actually flip is the consultant himself, who has a very wide network, who's constantly increasing his network and speaking. So at one given point of time, I should be having investors based in US, Norway, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, UK. So I would know who to sell the product to, right? So the goal is that you pick up units in a very interesting launch and you sell it to the right investor. So it's a process. So I just wanted to show you, the goal of this video is I wanted to show you how is it possible? Yes. How does it work? This is how. Another question in that video, it was like, okay, yes, EMAR allows you to sell legally around when you have paid around 40%. So if you look at my messages, my investor from the US, so the buyer had paid only 24%. My investor from the US, he paid the additional for EMAR for this property. We need to give 50% in order for EMAR to transfer the property. The additional 30% was paid by my buyer. So I managed the transaction in such a way that 30% was paid to EMAR. We applied for the NOC. Then we drew up the contracts. Everything, the legal part was another discussion. And then he did not, see, he came from the US, but he didn't stay for the transfer. I got it organized through an online power of attorney. So in my office, I got somebody assigned to give him a power of attorney and we got the transfer done. So to answer the question, yes, with this 24% payment, can a flip be done? Yes. What are the requirements? It's majorly product selection. It should be, because it's funny, in most launches, right, everyone's looking for the cheapest property, but that should not be your target. For example, today there's a launch in Valley Phase 2. So I was looking, so I told my investor, I had investors in the US, I'm like, you're not going to pick up the cheapest properties. I'm probably going to pick up the most expensive properties, because EMAR said, okay, 2.7, they're going to launch around between 2.7 and 2.8. They're going to launch these 4-bed townhouses. But I know for a fact that that is just, with every developer, they will have these houses, and some developers don't even have it at this price. It's just a fake marketing ad. In case of EMAR, they will have that product. But if I want something, let's say in Velora, if you saw the master plan, Velora somewhere over here, and there were these amenities, the meadows and the parks and all of that. So I wanted one of the houses in this location. I wanted a corner plot, one of the biggest plots near the park. The price would actually, so I told my investors, let's target the 3.2 to 3.3 mark products. It will go all the way up to 4 million. I probably don't want to pick up the 4 million ones, but I don't want to pick up the cheapest either. I want to pick up at the right price, the right location. And that's, you'll be able to flip. There's a very interesting product coming into the market, okay, there is a 4% DLD waiver. Now, now you saw the documentation, you saw how a flip is done. Now the price is 2.9, okay. We flipped it at 3.2. Now the 4% DLD was somewhere around, let's say, 130,000 dirhams. And so the gross profit was 300,000, the net was somewhere between 150 and 170,000 dirhams. Now imagine I could make the full profit. So on a 550,000 dirham investment, I actually have a potential to make 300,000 dirhams. Now this is a beautiful flip. Now the product that I'm going to talk about, it's a 4-bed townhouse, okay. Now the prices start at 1.8 million, okay. But I don't want to pick up these. I want to pick up stock somewhere around 2.2 million. 2.2 to 2.4 million. I'll pick up the stock because why? So this is, let's suppose this is the cluster, okay? Right across the road. So this is where ELO, the hotels are there, and there's a mall being developed over here. This is where the townhouses are being launched. There was Natura over here, and there's Violetta at this particular section. You've got park greens. So you've got park greens around the park, and this is the next layer. But I want to pick up the single row houses, the corner 4 bedrooms. I want to really choose. I don't want a back to back. I don't want to be looking into somebody else's garden, right? I want to pick up the right. Now, if you look at it, then what is the difference between 1.8 and 2.2, right? Around 400,000, 300 to 400,000, correct, right? But you know what's the problem? See, making money on papers and making number in real is a huge difference. Now, I have a friend who picked up a house in Sun at around 1.65 million, right? Now, in papers, yes, they've made around 1 million dirhams in profit. But in reality, how do you liquidate that asset? Because when a buyer comes who has a budget of around 2.6 million dirhams, they've got multiple options. And of course, the buyer is picky. Would you choose a house that's looking into somebody else's garden? It's really tough to liquidate such assets. So don't look at this. Look at the liquidity. Now, if I pick up this and now Valley, as I mentioned, we have Sheikh Zayed Road, Al Khail Road, 611, okay. Now let's suppose Valley, okay, there's Dubai Alan Road and at a certain intersection, right? So Valley is being developed over here, okay, and Damak Hills is at this location right next door. 4 bed is, I'm targeting at what price? Around between 3.2, it'll go all the way up to 4 million. Over here I'm picking up a 4-bed at 2.2 to 2.4, right? Now a person who has invested at this value, what will he sell it at? Around 5 million. What am I targeting? I'm targeting to sell it at, let's say, a 3 million. Now what is the difference? What is the difference of having a 4% DLD waiver? The difference is, so if you invest in the right product, see between, let's say, let's go with the flex is between 2 and 2.4, right? Let's take an average of 2.2 million, right? Now, 60% of this value, 1.3 million, okay? Now, if I manage to trade it at, okay, 3 million is a jump, okay, but okay, let's say if I manage to trade it at 3 million dirhams, the full, the premium, the 700,000 AD is my profit. Otherwise, see, the 4% DLD would be around what, 88,000 dirhams. So this will get deducted because see, let's suppose my target is this. Even if I make 500,000, I'm happy because on a 1.3 million dirham investment, of course, if my target is to hit the sweet spot, right? This is 50%. And what is the most important point of this investment? The handovers in 2026. That's just 2 years. Most products are being handed over 27, 28, 29. So we are looking at a 2-year investment, okay? It's a 2-year investment. We're looking at investment between 1 and 1.3 million dirhams. 1 is not too much. 1.1 and 1.3 million dirham investment in a span of 2 years. The payment plan is very convenient. You initially pay around 20%. You're paying around 1% every month. In between, there are these bumps of 8%. Beautiful payment plan. It's an amazing opportunity. Now the problem is that on the launch day, they're giving me this offer, right, of 60, 40, and a 4% DLD waiver. From day two, it's going to go towards 70, 30, and no 4% DLD waiver. So if you want to avail this opportunity, you have to tell me now. I'll have to choose units for you and start. I'll have to get this because, see, of course, my curse is that I educate people and then people go and implement it. Now, because of this video itself, I know everyone's going to go and try and target those units. But of course, I have some interesting connections. So I'm going to try and get those right units for you before it gets sold out. So if you're watching this video, first thing, please do hit the like, share, subscribe, because I see every time the views are between 2 and 10,000 and likes are like 50. I love those 50 people who constantly, support. That's great. That's awesome. But please do hit the like, share, subscribe button. Let me know what you think about the video. And you must admit, that was awesome. Flipping in 3 hours. I think I'm the only person in Dubai who could possibly do that. I recently hit 10,000 subscribers. I was really happy about it. We'll make a separate video on it because these are 10,000 organic, no boost, probably investors or real estate professionals. So that's great. But yes, thank you for watching. Let me know your feedback. But if you're looking to invest anywhere from 1 to 1.3 million dirhams, don't miss this opportunity. And that's it. Mohammed Zohaib. Thank you for watching.